Hello, Sunshine. It's Timmy from Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast. And this episode's super cool. We're going to be walking through the process of how I made the outfit for an event I'm going to. It's held by Brezie and iKatana. Sorry, pretty much just butchered the name, but it's an outfit for the event that's called Operation Takeover, and the dress code is Sexy Dystopia. And I didn't want to spend any money to buy a new outfit, so I thought I'd make one, and I thought that would be super cool and super unique. And I'll walk you through the process in the video, and also sort of the general concept of the outfit. And there is a couple of different looks, so you can kind of help me comment down below and decide before Saturday on which outfit you reckon is the best. Anyway, let's go. So we're starting off with the hat. Let's explain the hat's concept. So Sexy Dystopia and Operation Takeover has this sort of heavy theme on sort of like aliens and, I guess like how the world's kind of fucked. That's kind of how all that I really know and going on. So over here, I'm starting with the hat. The hat's concept is where the UFO theme really comes to life. I've got a hat that basically a hookup left over. It was a very bad hookup. It was a guy who was very, very, let's say, kind of a taker and also a little bit of a gaslighting, narcissistic guy. Anyway, he took a lot of my stuff. So when he left a brand new hat in my place, I figured that there would be sort of my tax on him, which really wasn't anywhere near good enough, because most of the stuff you take from me are good stuff or stuff that I made. Anyway, so for the hat, it was kind of a baseball hat. I basically painted it black first, let it, like the body of it black first, and then left it red because I like the red and black. It really goes with Breezy's kind of branding, and then left that to dry. And over here you can see for the base tee and also like a thin cardigan sweater, I've basically gone with some bleach. First I used some bleach that we had at home. That was like the watering kind, the more common kind. Then I ended up borrowing from a friend when I ran out, because I wasn't too happy with the sweater's amount of bleaching on it, and got the thicker kind, as you can see here. There was a brief shot of me before showing my facial hair, because I'm growing out my facial hair to kind of really go with that dystopian look. I usually absolutely hate having facial hair because my hair grows in wild ways. It's just, I'll show you a bit in a short later on, but it's basically just every single hair seems to grow in a different direction. It's wild and it looks very sparsely, so maybe it'll work with the look. And over here I tried to do the same thing with the pants before I decided on a camo theme. I was originally trying to just make it a whole set with like the bleach, but strangely enough with this pants denim material, might be worth kind of researching after this, but I don't know why bleach didn't really work on it at all. Literally didn't make a color dent at all, so must be some pretty impressive material. Anyway, so I let those sit for a little bit. They really don't take long for the shirt, and I think it took less than 10 minutes, not even. And here you can see I started working on the pants. So the idea was I basically looked up a camo design, or camouflage kind of khaki design, but instead I wanted to go with like sort of that dystopian rustic vibe, because the t-shirts, the orange bleach kind of reminds me of rusting buildings, very that kind of like zombie apocalypse dystopian vibe. So that made me think of the camo kind of camouflage look, trying to survive or trying to hunt things. So the pants idea basically came about as using the colors that I already have as well. So I went with white and the black and a gray, and then for the knife that I wanted to draw a design of a knife kind of thigh holster thing on my left foot, on my left thigh on the pants. I went with like the blood red burgundy color. That's kind of the idea here, and obviously it just took quite a while, because first I had to kind of dub it out with like either cotton swab or like a paintbrush, and then I can do two colors at once, which was significantly faster than just doing one at a time. But I had to do the front, then I had to let it dry quite a while, because it took quite a long time to get such a thick layer to dry. And then I had to turn it around the other way and then do the other side. So a lot of here is kind of back and forth between the different parts of like the project. So over here I'm starting with the UFO. The front part of the cap, I want to do a UFO saucer front on kind of beaming down. The interesting part about this hat, and the main reason why I haven't used it up until now, is because it actually has an embroidered kind of like koala bear or some kind of bear thing on the top, on the front. And so I painted it over with black, but I noticed that it's just very, very prominent, of course, because it's basically a 3D design. So I thought, well, with the beaming down idea, I could use some acrylic markers, and then for the bear, I might just, instead of doing someone getting beamed up, or I originally thinking of Brezie or iKatana being beamed up, I thought I'd do like a monster instead, like an alien monster. So a very, very simple thing. I just kind of, after doing all the layering and doing all the coloring, I just essentially ended up doing a little horn on top of it and some highlights, and it actually worked really well. And here I'm doing my own sort of style of writing, where it's like really rough and kind of jagged and very stylized. And then I wanted to add in some little alien features, like a little alien head. And then for like extra, I ended up doing some inspiration from one of my other favorite rappers, Quiet Frankie, who isn't doing music anymore, but has had released like some amazing music on Spotify. You should go check it out. He's still on social media actively doing paintings. Hello, I just wanted to quickly add a few things. So I forgot to mention that I also want to add a handkerchief sort of like unfolded or unrolled on my belt. So kind of a fancier look. Maybe it might work with the look. I don't know if it will. I'm going to try to figure out my very, very minimal amount of facial hair until beginning of May when the event is on. Just kind of sell that dystopian survival look. Fingers crossed that might look good. So also I had a shirt. So the shirts are all bleached and washed and dried now, so I can try it on and show you guys. This is also a new contender. So my friend that I visited today found some shirts that appeared out of nowhere for some reason, so I got some stuff to show you. But this one is a shirt that I feel like could work with the pants really, really well. It's got that kind of like, not quite galaxy, but kind of like I guess like what's the word for it? There's a specific word for when you like kind of stressed, the stressed look. Anyway, I quite like it, and it's great, and it's from Topman apparently, and I've never had anything from Topman. It's actually quite a nice shirt. It feels very nice. It's a very cool design. Strong contender. So I guess once the pants is finished, we can try everything out and then basically decide the look. Anyway, I'm going to show you the bleached shirts now. So this is a shirt. You can see it's super wispy. I kind of went in with toilet paper and dabbed like the bleach around a little bit, or smeared the shirts together just for like a really random look. But I just love the placement and everything, and the smeared look, and the color is a lot less big orange rather than more like a rust look, which is the one specifically that I wanted to look for. Back also looks good. So yeah, loving this shirt either way. I'm going to wear it a lot now. And it's interesting, different material kind of shows up differently with the effects of the bleach. And this one, it's obviously shown up a lot brighter. This is just in case because it's getting cold in Sydney now. So I am a little bit worried that it's going to be too cold at the beginning of the night. So this is mostly just to wear just in case. I don't think I'll need a jacket or anything. And I'm pretty sure I'm mostly going to be wearing the t-shirt. So that's fine. The only thing I like this part, but I don't like the way the shape is, where it kind of, for some reason, kind of makes me think like there's a bra almost like suggested there, which kind of looks a bit funky. So if I get more bleach before that time, maybe I might work on this one a little bit more. But we'll see how everything looks together at the end. Anyway, the back is kind of where it's at for this one. Pretty dramatic. Anyway, hope you guys like it. And now we're back to it. So you can see on the back side of the pants, and I've used some garbage bags to kind of prevent any painting getting spilled anywhere, because I'm very well known for doing that. So here I am doing pretty much it's all very intuitive painting, and this is the kind of style of painting on pants and like apparel that I really enjoy. It's just really fun and really kind of like a great outlet. Yeah, and then I did like end up focusing on a few areas later on. You can see I'm running out of paint, so there was a lot less gray, but there was just enough that made me feel happy about where I've put them. And then I'm going to jump back into the hat. Of course, my signature is always doing a under the brim design. And started off, I did a black outline of like an alien eye and the nose, kind of like they're looking down, like sneakily looking at us. But later on, I will change that color because black just didn't seem to give it the glow, that kind of effect of like a creepy alien vibe. And now I'm working on the backside. I did a white highlight base first and let it dry before, and now I'm basically doing the lighting effects. Later I would work on that more because I realized it just kind of looked like green lines, not really like light reflecting. And here we go, going back to the hat, I'm going back to the pants, and finally actually starting on the thigh holster thing for the knife, which surprisingly took a long time to kind of get a thick layer. I think because there was already paint on it, and the paint had to be rather thick, or at least in few layers. I'm just following kind of like an image I've googled and kind of following that outline, and later on would use some ink to black acrylic marker to kind of outline the details. And then I wanted some highlights of red to kind of tie in the design a little bit more overall, so it's not just one part of the design being red. So I did do the base of the trousers, as you can see before, and then I also kind of end up doing a touch of them on like the belt part. But yeah, this took a while. This was the one that took the longest away because I had to get such a thick layer on it, but then it just took longer to dry, so then it took forever to get to the really easy part, which was just doing the black outlines. And over here, I'm being lazy, kind of having a lazy day, was feeling not really motivated, so I was laying in bed doing it. So I've gone back to the front design of the hat and also the back design, and what I'm doing is using the cotton swab technique again to use very, very minimal paint that I've dabbed off or kind of swabbed on a little bit of it, and then just kind of trying to create that kind of light blurring effect around the UFO coming out. And just eventually then I decided to do some kind of like it coming out of the clouds effect. I thought that would be more cool and more like mysterious, so tying that effect over the hats and leaving some black areas where it's not so that it kind of like still has that very high contrast. I just wanted enough to kind of give it the effect around the main subjects or like the main parts of the design. So I can really give it that kind of night sky and mysterious vibes. That was the focus here. Sorry, it's a bit dark. And then I also kind of smeared out the green designs a bit more to really get it that light shining effect. And you can see this is where I decide that the eyes needed to be green and so to tie in with the design more, but also have that more of like a mysterious glow kind of effect, because the eyes are kind of more like the creepy kind of vibes usually. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. Acrylic markers are pretty good on fabric, I find. They are like pretty good, but they do need a bit of time to recharge and kind of like get the ink to flow again. And usually like it's better when you have one coat of something and then have another coat of it on top. That's where it really, really comes through. Over here I'm doing some white dots of the white paint for star effects. Really, really cool. One of my favorite things to do on hats, honestly, or painting in general, just doing stars. Of course, I kept it kind of minimal as well. Yeah, and here is like the front part with the clouds tying in the design, and then some researching, material referencing. And here I'm doing the part where I talked about kind of making the animal beaming up with the creature or the UFO creature. I'm trying to make the UFO a bit more fleshed out with a bit more details, but it's mostly still the same color themes. There you go, there's a bit more bright. I'll showcase it in the end, not when it's done anyway. So you'll definitely see more of the details. And over here, I've decided to obviously also tie in the text and also bring it out a lot more. It felt like it felt a bit flat to me. So I ended up adding in the green outline as well with the green pen. And this is kind of a particular kind of neon-y kind of um, alien green. So this is why I chose this color. It won't be very obvious in the dark, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, oh, and also, yeah, so some of the other parts, things I drew on here in the front brim was also little eyes in this design of like quite Frankie's. Just thought the little crazy eye thing kind of works really well with this. Anyway, and then I took out some of my jingle jangles, as I like to call them, those little hoops that I used for Breezie's hat. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. It's on the channel. I have a walkthrough video and a few shorts on it. But basically, I wanted to do some little dangly effects on my belt with whatever amount that I had left. If I had more, honestly, I would put a lot more and play around with it a lot more, but I only had a very limited amount left. But if you want to get these, you can get them from Dysol. They basically open up like open hoop kind of earring kind of hoop things almost, but thicker. And I got smaller ones and bigger ones of those. And here it is. I'm going back working on the back side of the thigh holster for the knifing. Yeah, it's just very, very easy painting, really. The overall concept for these clothes were pretty simple because I knew I didn't have a lot of time to work on it. And also among like other things I was doing and a lot of things that was happening at the time, I didn't want to go too crazy. Over here, I'm just trying to put on something for my flatmate that he ended up finding didn't fit him, so he gave it to me instead. Yeah, anyway, so this is a part where finally I got all the painting happy to the point where I was happy with it as thick as I wanted it. And now I'm just using black acrylic marker to mark in all the knife details. I had to go back in and paint a little bit because I realized some of the mistakes. Like, for example, for next time, like a fire holster, the way it is, there's the main area of the knife, and then there's kind of the holster, and then there's actually a belt where the belt should be actually thinner. And over here, I'm just basically going in with some red paint again to kind of patch up any parts that I don't think were clean enough or straight enough, or like if there's any black things that were misaligned in the wrong position and such, or any bold spots that seemed like the red paint was still a little bit too thin. And then finally, I decided to do a little video to send to Breezy and Eli, my two friends, to kind of show off the pant design. I told them about the design that only two that I really talked about in detail, and they were kind of very hyped for me. So that was really cool. And yeah, it was really cool. It was super contrasting and super eye catching. I just love that. I feel like the crowd's gonna be interesting to see what other people think. Over here, I'm doing some video footages, mostly to do as a short with the video from Breezy's music. And here's the free looks, the t-shirt my friend gave me, and the sweater from left to right with the pants and with the jingle jangles, and also some of my things that I'll be carrying that day, like my keys and all that, which kind of add to the look. And the final show off with the shoes, which kind of, I think, with these brown boots, tall kind of boots, give it that kind of hunting or survival dystopian look, which I think looks really cool and be easy to dance with. Oh, and I just realized that I haven't actually showcased the final look of the hat. So here's a showcase in detail. And that will be the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you think.